Eagle fans, welcome to the Week 9 Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Kirkendall here with head coach Stephen Fitzhugh, and we got a Game of the Week ball back here, Coach. We received the award for the KNOE Game of the Week last week. Big win against Mangham to move to 8-0 on the season. Coach, talk about that game. I mean, you got to be pleased.
Yeah, it was a big win for us. I mean, Mangham, we knew coming in the season our last 3 ball games were going to be the 3 toughest as they were the previous year, and most of these teams have the majority of their starters come back, which Mangham, had good size on the offense and defensive line. And then offensively, they had their quarterback, receivers, everybody back, good experience at tailback position, and then defensively as well. Most of those guys came back, linebackers, secondary. A very talented football team that we knew was going to be a battle, and just real pleased with our intensity that we played with, and a lot of emotion. I mean, to come out and to get a big stop right there early on 3rd and short, that helped us win that field position battle right off, and then to score on the 3rd play. You like to get momentum early in a game like that, and our guys were able to hold on and keep that momentum going throughout the game. Again, defensively, I think Mangham was 1 of 12 on 3rd down, and so that's huge any kind of time you can win the money downs. Our offense executed well, and again, first half especially, I think, I don't know exactly what it was, but 4 of 5 or 6 possessions we were able to put points on the board on those drives offensively. So great to go out and execute in our first really stressful ball game.
Yeah, it was, but it seems like it's been a theme all year, and it's something that's improved from last year. Is when we start the games off, we get off to a good start. So last week against Mangham, we come out, we score, like you said, we get the ball, we score quick. I think that was the slant to Maddox. I mean, just really good-looking play. Good catch and run by Maddox, good throw by Luke, and then we score again, 14-0. And then we get the ball back, and we're on the verge of going up 21-0 in the first quarter, and we kind of felt like that game was teetering on the verge of a blowout. But Mangham, is resilient. They don't quit. They get the stop, and then are able to put, to answer. And then we got a ball game back on our hands right there. So I thought the resiliency of Mangham never quit the entire game.
No.
So,
yeah. I mean, it was a tight ball game, and again, another thing pleased with is you talking about they were able to put a drive together. Defensively, the biggest play we gave up was 22 yards, and so that's what's huge anytime in a big ball game is don't give up the one home run play. Make them milk the clock, grind it out, play another play, and so the drives that they scored on, I think were around eight plus plays, and so great win for our guys.
Yeah, so we ended up winning the game 35-14, and it was a convincing win. So it was a good win against a really good team. I think Mangham is certainly a contender in the non-select Division IV. You mentioned the 1 of 12 on 3rd down, just phenomenal play by the defense. I thought Desai Bradshaw did really well. Waller had a great game again. Cooper again had a good game. So really good. All the way around on defense. Let's see here. I was trying to see what I had written down. We ran the ball. We ran the ball really well throughout that game. It was nice to see Luke break through with a big run and then cap that off with a rushing touchdown. And I do want to say, Coach, that Luke Vadrine did get recognized as the Northeast Delta HSA Impact Player of the Week. We also got the KNOE Game of the Week ball. Landon Waller has 4 block kicks. He became the most block kicks all time in OCS football history. And then Micah Mosier and Desai Bradshaw were recognized as Aaron's ace. So this whole year, there hadn't been a lot of recognition. Well, now after a big win like that, it's good to see our guys, kind of get publicly recognized for their accomplishments.
Yeah, it is. And again, that happens in the tighter ball games. I mean, it's not going to happen in a blowout ball game against a team that might be struggling this particular season. But when 2 good football teams get together and guys excel, that's usually when some accolades come. And Again, those are all and our guys have been real proud of them. They realize that's a team honor that we all accomplished together, and so it's again, the big players make the big plays in the big games.
That's right.
And so they, again, as part of the team, those guys stepped up and made some big plays that we needed.
It's nice to see an offensive lineman get an award. You don't see that too often.
You don't, and that was one thing that, again, that was the big question mark for us coming into the season. And Mike has showed great leadership, getting those guys up here, motivating them. That back in the spring, they get up here early in the morning to lift weights, do extra workouts, and watch extra film study. Just they have put in a lot of time, and Micah, being that lone senior, has really led that group, because you don't hear those guys' names on the radio unless it's for holding or false start or something like that.
We try to throw them a bone every once in a while, Coach.
But those are the guys.
Are listening.
Yeah, those guys that open up the holes for Jude and Eli, and that give Luke time to throw the ball. So that was neat to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a chance to talk to Luke the other day at practice, Luke Vadrine, and asked him about the line. I said, they look good this year, and he was like, it's like they take pride in their skill and their craft, and they really want to do well, not just to do well, but for their teammates and everything else. They have a really neat demeanor. It seems like
they do a good camaraderie between those guys, and Coach Sanford's done a great job of getting them together and communicating with them, challenging them, pushing them, and so it's been real neat to see those guys grow up like they have.
And I thought they did a great job the other night. I don't think Luke got sacked. If he did, it may have been once.
No, he didn't get sacked. He got hit once with a
hits,
rush,
yeah.
Quarterback hurry, but not a sack.
Yeah, and Mangham was putting the pressure on him. They made it tough, but ultimately the big plays that we had on offense, and then getting Mangham's offense off of the field on third down, that was really the difference, the score difference in the game, in my opinion.
Yes, no doubt. It was, and so, again, big ball games, it's often one play here or there, and our guys, again, they were able to make the plays when they needed to.
So I mentioned all the awards and accolades that we got this week, and I know all that's good, and you're proud of your guys when you do that, but there's a lot of things that happen off the field, especially late in the season, that can be a distraction. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring one of those up. One of those is the power ratings. We're just you kind of start looking at it now that we got a big win against a quality opponent. Not only that, but Coach, I think this is the first time where in the last 2 years where our non-district was 3-0. So Caldwell beat Buckeye, General Trask beat Delta Charter, and Delhi beat Block, and so that really helped us out. So if you're looking at the power ratings and you see why we made a big jump, now we're sitting at number 8. According to the official ones, that's part of that jump is our non-district opponent wins, and these next 2 games are going to be valuable in terms of setting us up for the playoffs. I know that there's nothing you can do about that except play the games and win the games, as a coach, but it is something, that you do pay attention to see where we line up in the playoffs. So these next 2 games are going to be big.
Yeah, they are. Bottom line, we need to win. Last year we had 1 loss and we were the number 11 or 12 seed. And so to put ourselves in best position, we need to win each of these last 2 ball games that, again, we knew, hey, these are our 3 toughest ball games on the schedule. And Ferriday, their only 2 losses of the season was a 1 touchdown game to Oak Grove and 1 touchdown game to Mangham. And so Faraday's loaded with talent. And, Oak Grove, their only loss on the season is to Mangham. And so, again, it doesn't get any easier at all.
No. And we're going to talk about, we got Ferriday coming into town this week. But before we do that, we're going to go to our senior spotlight. We got Landon Waller, number, who knows?
Number 1.
He's number 1. Yep. No,
the jerseys, the number 30s have torn up too much. No more repairing.
Well, he's he works hard out there on the field.
He does.
So I'm sure you don't mind giving him a different number if he needs it. Well, we'll go talk to him, and we'll take a short break and get a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
So much.
That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's.
Well, Eagle fans, welcome to our Senior Spotlight this week. I am sitting here in Coach Fitzhugh's office with defensive end, linebacker, number 1, Landon Waller. Landon, thanks for taking some time out of your busy day to talk to us. It's an honor to watch you guys go out there and do your thing every Friday night, especially since you're having a great season like this, and you're having a monster season. You moved into the record books just recently. You have 4 block kicks. That's the most all-time in a single season. And you've got some other things. Your sacks, I think you're on the list. Tackles for loss, yards from your tackles for loss. And so you're obviously a force on the defensive line. I remember just, was it the week before last, you had back-to-back sacks in a game. So talk a little bit about playing defensive end, what you do to prepare each week and each offseason.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much for having me here, Coach K.
Absolutely, yeah.
Honored to be here and honored to be a part of OCS football. Coach Bentley and Coach Fitzhugh, they have a great workout program and all that for us. And Coach Fitzhugh, a few years ago, Coach Fitzhugh offered a 6 o'clock in the evening workout for us guys that work, 10 or 12 hours throughout the summer each day. And me, Jude, and Eli, we come up here in the evenings at 6 o'clock and we'd push each other to failure, and we'd work really hard and be the best we can be for our team. Preparation throughout the game. Each week, Coach Fitzhugh does a really good job with getting stats and
just like game plans and schemes.
Yeah, game plans and schemes
what
and
to expect.
What we need to expect. He'll have all that done for us when we get here on Monday, and he really takes his time out on the weekends and does that for us, and has all the film set up for us, and all we got to do is go in and watch the film on the defense side of the ball. And the scout younger guys on the team, they'll run the scout offense for us, and they don't get hardly any credit. They get a lot of banged up and beaten up, but
yeah, it's almost like a fight in the trenches. Like every time the ball snapped, it's a hand fighting, trying to get position. And I think our defense has done a great job this year. I mean, the numbers are just unbelievable. We've given up, I think, 40 points in 8 games. So 5 points a game. It's just, you guys are phenomenal. And I know you guys work as a team, because you're talking about your teammates. Not only that, but your coaches also, who were able to accommodate guys like you who work. I mean, what do you do? You like to work on the farm?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that what it is?
We'll work on the farm.
Well, I asked if you like that. Some days you probably
we
do.
like
Some
it.
days
We like it for the most part.
Yeah, and and you mentioned the preparation. I see you guys in here lifting weights all in the off season when you can, and catching up on film. And so you're a senior. You've done this for a couple years, and you're having a great season. I mentioned that already. And so I want to know, through all the games that you've played, you've seen a lot of football. You've played a lot of plays in OCS jersey. What are some of your fondest memories, or the moments that you treasure as a player up to this point at OCS? There's still more to come.
It is. Favorite memory would probably be last playoff run. Being the underdog, 12 or 13 seed.
11 or 12, something like that.
I think we traveled like every game, all them miles and everything, coming in there to their home field or whatever, and they have home field advantage. But you could just see it on the players, like the way their demeanor was and the way they were acting, like they just, it's 12 seed, whatever, it ain't gonna be no big deal, and we just smack them in the mouth, and it was just awesome seeing that and just being the underdog and going all the way to the dome.
Yeah, y'all spent a lot of miles on the road together. That's got to be really healthy for team building. And you mentioned last year's playoffs, and nobody else has said that. And the reason nobody else has is because it was a heartbreaking end to the playoff run. So
we have a really bad taste in our mouth from that, and we know what it takes to get that done this year.
Yeah,
we're going to do it.
And your perspective is, hey, those are great memories, and part of that is getting that motivation needed to, that one last bit of motivation we need to believe that we can win the whole thing. Hey, yep, that's right. So, what else are you involved in besides football? I mean, football does take up a considerable amount of time in the fall and into the winter. And so what else do you like to do? Tell us a little bit about
It does.
Landon Waller.
I like to hunt
Yeah.
a lot, and then during this time, really just big focus on football.
Yeah.
I like to work throughout the summer, but I mean, other than that, we really high intense on working out.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And football.
Yeah, those things, working at the farm, football, and all that stuff takes a tremendous amount of time. So again, I love watching you guys do your thing. I think one of the most impressive things, and I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, so I'm sorry, but it's not a hard answer. On third down this year, our opponents are 16 for 86. That's less than 20% converting to a first down. You guys make it really hard for teams to prolong their drives and put points on the board. Is there something that goes on the defense, whether it's communication or just a mentality when it gets to like those, what does Coach Fitzhugh call them, the money downs?
Yeah, I mean, we just know that, we got to bow up and get it done, stop the run first, depending on the down and distance. And then Coach Fitzhugh and really Coach Bentley, he drew up it's called a bigs package. Some bigger guys will come in on the defensive line. We'll try to stop that. But we all just know that, we got to bow up and get it done, get the offense back on the field, put points on the board.
Well, those are the small victories that win games, and you guys are doing a great job this year. And I do want to ask you one more thing. What's going to happen? What's going to happen next year? What do you have plans?
Yeah. So my family, we all farm or whatever, and I plan to be a fifth generational farmer after I graduate.
Well, we all got to eat, so
That's right.
appreciate you guys, appreciate the
That's
work,
right.
and also appreciate your time. I know you had to get out of class early.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I hope
It
you
was
were
terrible.
all right. Yeah. Well, anyway, I do want to thank you for your time. Do enjoy watching you play. I'm trying to come up with a nickname for you. Number one defensive end. I'm thinking the unit. I may roll with that. You all right with that?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, appreciate your time. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hope to see you out here at the field on Friday night as we take on the Ferriday Trojans. Watch Landon Waller pile up some of those yards for loss. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Go Eagles.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
So much.
That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's.
Welcome back, Eagle fans. And I also want to say thank you to McDonald's on Highway 165 in North Monroe for sponsoring our Coach's Show week in and week out. Great partner to have. Coach, week 9, Ferriday Trojans coming to town. 6-2 on the season, 3-2 on district, and you just mentioned their only 2 losses are to district opponents, Oak Grove and Mangham, and a 1-score game against Oak Grove, but they had the lead on Mangham for late in the game, came back down 35-6, and came back, took the lead, and Mangham ultimately won that game, but in a shootout. So those are their only 2 losses, and you said they're going to bring a lot of athleticism. And what else can we expect from this Ferriday team?
Just a very talented team. Again, offensively, it jumps out real quick with the couple of Division I signees that they have, commits over there on that side. But they also have a guy on defense, corner, that's a D1 commit, and they have a lot of speed defensively. I mean, they're going to be the fastest team that we have seen and dealt with, from the front to the linebackers to secondary. I mean, I remember those guys from track meets. They do have good speed. And so very talented football team that they have proven that they're not going to quit. They were down 35-6 against Mangham. They came back and took a 40-35 lead. And so they're the kind that they're a very dangerous football team. And again, they're going to fight for 4 quarters no matter what the score is. And that's kind of how it was last year with us. It seems like we had a pretty good lead on them. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, a couple of touchdowns, and it got to be a pretty close ball game. So, again, we know it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, so you mentioned last year, so I wrote a couple notes about that. We were up 28-8 with a minute to go till halftime. They score, and then we score going in. So at halftime, it was 28-14. Then we score going into the half. A big pass to Ridge to go up 35-14. come out the second half, we get the ball, we score a couple of times, but then they start throwing a couple of deep passes, hit on a couple of just throwing it downfield. And you mentioned those receivers. Some of those, one of them in particular, number 10, he's coming back. He had a big game against us last year. They threw for 344 yards against us, and I would say about half of those are on their 3 scoring plays. So about half of those yards.
Yeah, Desmond Jefferson, he's number 10, and he had over 160 yards receiving. They had another receiver that was a senior last year, had 160 yards receiving, and again, they have several different weapons that they can go to, not just one guy.
Well, yeah, you don't want to spend too much time in line at the concession stand because things can happen really quickly against the team. And you mentioned it, but they're going to stretch the field like a team like we haven't seen this year. So it is going to be a test for our defense. I like the speed of our defense, and so I think it's a pretty good matchup. But I guess it's going to be a test. They're averaging 48 points per game. So a prolific offense, that's including 6 points against Oak Grove last week.
You take away that 1 6-point game, it's more like 56 points a game.
That's exactly right. So, again, we ended up winning the game last year, 56 to 28. So I think, just from what I've seen, Coach, this Ferriday team that's coming in, you mentioned the close games with Oak Grove and Mangham. I believe that they can be a contender in non-select Division IV and Division IV also. So
right. There's no doubt.
So I know we do have some festivities going on with this game this week. Is Class of 2000?
The football team of the year 2000 will celebrate their 25 years since they won the state championship. And, that's a special group to me as well. They were 7th graders my first year at OCS in 1994. So I had them in Bible class. I coached them in 7th grade football. And then, they were sophomores, I believe, in the year 1998, my first year as head coach. They were sophomores on the high school team. But it'll be neat to see that group, that team come back and celebrate 25 years. It goes by real quick.
Yeah, tell me about it. Those are my people. That was my graduating class. So actually know some guys that graduated from here. I played ball with at Harding, Jake Kirby, and got to know him. He graduated that same year. So, you mentioned what we can expect from Ferriday. I mean, as far as an offensive technical standpoint, are they spread? Are they gonna just
Yeah, they're a spread team. They're a spread team, and they'll mix in the run. Running back does a good job, and then again they throw it around all over the field. But they try to spread you out and use their speed and get to the playmakers.
Well, we'll close with this, but their quarterback, number 13, Jace Harris, I think he's younger. Is he a sophomore?
He's a sophomore.
Well, he's got 22 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions on the year. He's thrown for almost 1,400 yards, 60% completion. So they're going to put the ball in the air. It should be a fun game, a fun test for our defense.
It'll be a challenge. There's no doubt. It was last year, and we won, but you're not real happy when you give up 350 yards passing, and so it's going to be a big challenge for our defense for sure.
Well, you think you know what to expect, and then they have a 13-6 game against Oak Grove, so you really kind of don't know what to expect. I would have said in that game there would have been 80 points or more, but there's less than 20. So who knows what's going to happen? It should be a great game, great atmosphere. The weather's really turned nice, and so we'll look forward to taking on the Ferriday Trojans at Eagle Stadium, Fitzhugh Field on Friday night. Hope to see you out there. Go Eagles.